like to give everybody out there listening a very warm White Cat welcome, because you're tuned in to the White Cat Outdoors podcast. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the 5th episode of the White Cat Outdoors podcast. You got White here, and over to my left, Tommy's sitting with us.
Glad to be here again, guys.
And straight across from me, we got Nick.
Hey, what's going on?
And we got another guest in studio with us today. We got our Uncle Norm, and the whole Uncle Norm thing will come into play a little bit later when he explains what he's doing here and what we're talking about. So everyone say welcome to Uncle Norm.
How's everybody doing?
How's it going? Thanks for coming on to the podcast, Uncle Norm.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys.
All right, so we're just going to jump right into it. Uncle Norm is obviously one of our uncles. He's a local business owner and had a problem with fishing and decided he needed to fix that and make it easier for himself. So why don't you just go right into why you got started with Bait Buddy.
Well, Nick, you're absolutely right. The reason I first started it is because I was the worst fisherman in the world. I went on a charter fishing boat off the coast of Sea Isle where everybody was catching bluefish, and I did not catch one. So that kind of spearheaded the whole thing. I've always had the mindset of an entrepreneur. I always wanted to do something on my own. So there was a 5 or 6 different things that came into play why I did it. But it didn't come just overnight. I've been doing this for quite a while. A lot of growing pains, a lot of people helping me out. It was really what I was impressed with. It was the people that I met, how willing they were to support a small business like that, which I thought was just tremendous on that aspect.
Awesome. So you want to go through maybe just a little bit about, obviously it's Uncle Norm's Bait Buddy.
Yes.
Is the name of the product, and do you want to go through exactly what the product is?
Yeah, it's a 3-ounce spray bottle of all natural oils to be applied to whatever you're using for bait, whether it be live bait, lures, anything you're looking for. You spray it on there. I have a spray bottle. It's a nice application, and you cast out. It's a nice product. It's all natural. It retails for $8.25 a bottle. That's the suggested retail price. I'm looking at getting into the wholesale market to where I can just sell 50, 60 bottles to one guy, and then he can obviously sell it for whatever he wants.
That's pretty neat. So has it always been a spray bottle, or is that kind of an evolution of?
Yeah, that was part of the evolution of it. When I first started out, it was it was a disaster, but it was. I got on the road with it. It came in a little jar, and it was just
About like a chew can size?
Yeah, and it was. You had to dip your bait in there. It was a whole process. It was messy.
I was going to say, it probably made a little bit of a mess. I'm sure people love that all over the boat.
Yeah, it really did. I actually had one guy, he called in, and he really likes my product, but he spilled some on his boat, and he had trouble getting it off.
Love the product, hate the container.
Hey, but now, I mean, I got all the growing pains out of the way. There was a lot of questions that I didn't even know the issue would arise. So there's always growing pains in everything you do. I've been at it for a few years now. I'm shipping it all over the country. I'm still not making any money on it. I'm breaking even, but my main goal is not the money. I mean, everybody wants to make the money. I want to make some good business connections and possibly have this company exist after I'm gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And like you said, just the people you meet, because everyone in the outdoor communities, I shouldn't say everybody, but the majority of people that you will meet in the outdoor community are all great people that you can make, lifelong friendships with and travel all over the country and do things that you never would have had the opportunity to do. Like, you said, going fishing different places and traveling up and down the coast and going out west and doing that sort of stuff, without you starting that Bait Buddy thing, you probably would have never met these people because, honestly, when you first started doing it, I was surprised because, the majority of our family is really big into the outdoors, and, you aren't really one of the bigger outdoor people in the family. So, but like you said, you just have that entrepreneurial mind.
Right.
So it led you to the outdoors because it's something you've been exposed to forever,
Yeah.
your whole life with all your brothers and all, nieces and nephews and everybody. So it just really led you to
Right.
somewhere that you could expand and just meet new people and do the partying and hanging out with people like you like to do. And,
Well, that was one of the secondary benefits of this, and it's slowly becoming the best thing. I mean, I've met so many people. I have such good many friendships out there. I have a guy down in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, Joe Brown, very solid guy. He has about 4 or 5 bait stores down there. I have a guy up in North Dakota, Josh Burchett. I hope I pronounced that right, Josh, if you're listening. But he's up in North Dakota. I got guys in Florida, Texas, all over the place. I am running into an interesting marketing challenge. What I'm finding out, I have about 50 big tournament fishermen out there spread all throughout the country. They don't want to tell anybody about it. I get it. If I'm
you
fi-
want to tell everybody.
Right, I want them to tell everybody, and every once in a while somebody does give me some love on Facebook, which I like. But I totally get it. I mean, if I'm fishing with 30 other guys and I'm in a tournament and I'm picking up my game and I'm winning the money, I'm probably not going to want to tell anybody either.
Oh, yeah, it's like that with any aspect of fishing or
Right,
hunting. You find your hot spot or that
right.
one thing that works for you, and with your bait buddy, that one scent that really sets your game apart from other people. You
Yeah.
can really separate yourself. You don't let everybody in on all those little secrets, but for you, you want everyone to know so you can sell your product.
But I totally understand where they're coming from,
Mm-hmm.
and that lays on me 100%. It's just another marketing challenge. Another secondary good thing about this, it's keeping my mind sharp. It's taken me around the country. Last year, I spent 2 weeks in Gatlinburg in North Carolina, ended up in the Outer Banks, and then I was up in New Hampshire and Maine, and I'm getting ready to go down to Key West, Florida, right at the end of the month for a couple weeks. And I'm taking 300 bottles of bait, buddy. And if I see somebody with a fishing pole, they're gonna have a bottle of it. I'm 100% with me. I know you people don't know me out there, but I'm a very ethical person, and I will not back something unless I believe in it 150%. And Uncle Norm's Bait Buddy is a product that if you're serious about fishing, there is no way that you're not going to want to give this a shot for $8.25. Most fishermen out there have a $50,000 boat pulling an $80,000, with an $80,000 truck, lures. There's no way, if you watch my pics, testimonials, and YouTube videos, there's no way you wouldn't want to have this in your tackle box. And it is definitely worthy of being in every single tackle box out there in America. And that's exciting.
So, is there, if they're interested in those videos, which I'm sure any fisherman would be before they buy a product, they want to look into it. Where on Facebook can they find you?
You can
to see
find
them?
you can find me on Facebook at Norm Myers. That's my personal web page or my personal Facebook page. And the reason I picked my personal Facebook page is I want people to know me. I want them to know what kind of person I am. I'm rock solid. I have my beliefs. I treat people good. I live by the golden rule. So I want them coming to my personal page so when they know that they're doing business with me, they know who I am. And I think people are responding to that. They feel more comfortable with that.
So, you run your own personal Facebook page for contacts and you do all the traveling. So, do you have anybody helping you, or is this all a one-man show you're doing everything for this?
Right now, I'm a one-man show. I do have a girl that's kind of advising me on my webpage and stuff, and I have distributors all over the country. Not all over the country. Probably 4 or 5 guys are really pushing my product, Florida, Texas, and everything. But yeah, right now, I'm a one-man show. I mean, in a perfect world, it would be great to just have everything at your hands, and I'd be able to just go into a full blast. But I think things happen for a reason, and sometimes when I have a stumbling block with it, I just think that it's meant to be, and it works out. I mean, the main thing is it is a solid product. It's a good product. It works. All the marketing goes on to me. And another thing that I appreciate out there in Facebook land is so many people have been willing to help me and advise me and give me suggestions, and that's priceless. I mean, these guys are just, they don't know me. They're just helping me out. That's why I want Uncle Norm's Bait Buddy to pay for my travels when I retire. I want to be able to go around. I want to be able to shake people's hands. I want to talk. I want to promote my product. And that's what I'm doing. I'm meeting a lot of good people out there because I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be doing this for the next 30, 35 years.
That's an awesome way to think about it. You want to be the guy that's promoting your own product. Nobody that.
Yeah, no doubt.
You enjoy going out there, shaking hands, and like you said, you deliver your own product, and I think that's incredible. You
Right.
hand bottle everything, if I'm correct on that.
Yes, just yesterday, excuse me, I'm getting ready to go down to Key West, Florida, as I mentioned earlier. And just yesterday, in my little assembly line apartment, whatever you want to call it, I made up 400 bottles. As far as an apartment assembly line, it's a very productive system.
Pretty high-tech system you
Oh
got
boy,
going on.
I'm telling you what, Frankie, it's pretty high tech.
That's pretty incredible. So is it? I know it's labeled as like a fishing formula, but
Right.
I've heard rumor that there's other ways that it's been used.
I've had guys calling in, and for one, it works on all the sport fish, in saltwater and in freshwater. I've actually have a couple people that are chiming in. They like it for trapping.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it's-
makes sense. Especially like raccoons and other animals, like just sense
it's
pique their
it's a
interest.
curiosity
Yeah,
in the
exactly. Yeah.
I don't know why it works. I don't claim to know why it works, but I don't know how the insides of a watch work either, and I still tell time. So it doesn't matter how a product works if it's working. I've actually had guys using it for hunting.
Really?
They spray it on a tree or something, and they'll come back and there'll be a rub on it or a scrape or however you call it. But yeah, so it's a universal product, I guess.
I've actually been into trapping for the past few years now, and I started out raccoon trapping, and I couldn't tell you how many raccoons I've caught on just Uncle Norm's Bait Buddy was the only thing I would put on my set. And I don't know if it's that fishy odor that brings them in.
Don't be
Yeah,
giving
I'm
away
sure
any
that-
secrets.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could probably you could realistically probably put a tuna sandwich out there, and
yeah.
you would get some curious animal sniffing around. Then
get me
again,
sniffing around out
I don't need to know why it works if it's working.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know why it works good in fishing, but it really does. And I would encourage everybody out there, if you're serious about fishing, go to my personal Facebook page at Norm Myers, Myers. Look me up. Look at my YouTube videos. Look at my pics and testimonials. And if you're serious about fishing, at the end of when you get done browsing and looking at those videos, you're going to want to buy a bottle. But I want to get more into the wholesale end of it. I don't want to be the retailer where
Yeah, I'm sure that adds a whole nother set of headaches
it,
to
it
you.
really does. I mean, if I wholesale, I don't have to pay sales tax.
Yeah.
The only one that has to pay that is the end user. So I don't have to mess with that. I'm not running to the post office and mailing out 20 individual bottles.
Yeah.
I don't. When I sell wholesale, I sell a 3-ounce bottle for $4. Okay, there's a minimum purchase you got to make, but that allows the end guy to make $4 on a bottle, or he can run the specials. It gives him plenty of room to make some money. And in this economy, I mean, it is great, but everybody wants to make a little extra money.
For sure. And, I follow our statistics on, who's listening to the podcast, and there is a large group of people that are paying attention in the Pennsylvania, specifically Northwest. Is there anywhere we can find it in Northwest Pennsylvania?
Well, right now, you can go up to Field and Stream in Erie, Pennsylvania. I have a really good friend up there, Ben Hines. He manages the store. He carries my product up there, and it's good to have it on a national platform like Field and Stream. I mean, which is also Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be up there. And this will be my 3rd year in a row. The third Saturday in July, I've been invited up again. It's the largest walleye tournament on the Great Lakes. It's up in Sunset Bay, New York, about an hour away from Erie.
Is that on Lake Erie or Ontario?
It's on Lake Erie, but what a blast! I mean, last year there was 125 boats. and they love my product. And I didn't get any kudos, but I know the guy that took third place at that walleye tournament bought a couple bottles from me. Whether he used them, I don't know.
So, are you fishing at these tournaments, or what exactly are you doing at the
No,
tournament?
I'm actually a vendor. I go up there and I just talk to the fishermen. And I'm telling you, Nick, one of the best things about this business is just shaking hands and meeting people. I love it.
Oh, I love to travel as
You know
well.
what I
And
mean?
you're like you said, if you can find a way to pay for your travels
Yeah.
and do what you love to do, it's
Right.
a win-win. How could
Yeah.
you?
And
how
what
could
you said,
lose?
you know, meeting people. When I was shooting,
Yeah.
all through high school and college, that was
Right.
my favorite part about shooting. It wasn't.
Yeah.
I'm sure Tom, has similar experiences.
Well,
It's
yeah,
not just
playing collegiate baseball, traveling around.
Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
just
Met
going
some
around meeting people, and you're making those connections
Yeah.
with people, and when you have friends all over the country,
Yeah.
it's just it adds that one more thing. You're not just going like with me with
Right.
shooting or
Yeah.
Tom with baseball, you with going to these fishing tournaments as a
Right.
vendor. You're not just going to participate in what's going on. You
Right.
know people. You go out at night, have dinner with these people, and have friends all over the place. So no matter where you go, you can have fun
Yeah.
where you're going.
And that does make it a win-win. You're absolutely right. I mean, every place I go, I got good connections in Gatlinburg, down in the Outer Banks. Yeah, it just you feel like you're just part of it. You're not just a salesman anymore. I'm in there, I'm in there shaking hands with the people.
Yeah, for sure.
That's one of the benefits that I'm finding, and there are the benefits out there: the traveling, the meeting people, the just seeing the good old USA. I mean, I love it.
That's pretty cool. And I know I don't do a ton of fishing, but when I do, I've always got Uncle Norm's bait buddy with me. And I remember one time, this was probably a few years back, actually, right when you were getting started. I was going fishing with a buddy of mine, and he was real excited to tell me that he's got this secret formula that his dad gave him. He was really excited. He's like, "Hey, Nick, we're going to go out bullhead fishing in Edinburgh." And he's like, "I got this secret product. My dad got a hold of it. And
Never seen nothing like it.
Yeah, he's like, this is this new stuff.
Don't tell anybody.
Exactly. It's exactly what this kid's telling me. And he's, my dad got this from somebody, and he was crushing fish. He doesn't know how or why it works, but it's like this magic potion. And we get to the lake, and out comes a bottle of Uncle Norm's bait buddy out of his tackle box.
That's
and
awesome.
I had one with me, and where are you getting that? I'm like, well, Uncle Norm happens to be my actual Uncle Norm.
You know the
That's
name?
awesome.
It comes from me, buddy.
Well, actually, funny that you say that. Well, how I came up with Uncle Norm's is all my nieces and nephews kind of helping me out, and I've always been Uncle Norm to everybody. I mean, when I worked with the little kids wrestling, half of those kids called me Uncle Norm.
Yeah, growing up wrestling, you were
So-
always. I remember everybody was the big thing at wrestling practice was we'd be all as soon as practice was over, everybody was swarming Uncle Norm for some bubble gum, and it just everybody. It was turned into like a little deal in action where once in a while, a kid get a piece of bubble gum, and word got out that there was a hot product, and every kid on the wrestling team, which mind you, there's like 40 to 60 of them asking for bubble gum 3 nights a week.
Asking
So-
for bubble gum and learning how to play poker.
That's it, man. Right? Hey, that's important stuff. But I mean, it's kind of odd how things work out. Because when I started working with the kids, and that Uncle Norm, I just kept hearing it, and I always heard it from my nieces and nephews. It just kind of flowed. And then the name Norm, when I was 18, Cheers was the hottest show on television. I don't know, you guys may be a little younger.
Back
for
about
Cheers.
100 years ago.
Yeah, right. Well,
I'm familiar with
maybe
it.
90 years ago. But yeah, I mean, so it was always, I was always about brand recognition and branding yourself to represent your product. And Uncle Norm's Bait Buddy just seemed like the thing to do. I'm a real casual person, and my label says that. You know what I mean? You look at my label, it just says fun. You know what I mean? We're going out to have fun fishing. And I'm a really laid-back guy. I love the traveling. I don't know, man. I feel very blessed that I have an opportunity to do this. And now it's on my shoulders. It's the marketing. I mean, that's when it comes up to me. And there's so many people out there that are just so willing to help. My buddy Ben Hines up at Field and Stream, he lets me know, Norm, whatever I can do. And I told him, I said, Ben, you know more about this industry than I do. If one thing I learned about business is do what you do and that's traveling and promoting my product. That's what I'm good at. The stuff that I'm not good at, somebody else can do.
Yeah,
I have no
pass that buck
I
to
have
someone
no problem
else.
sharing the
Yeah,
responsibility.
realize your strengths and
Right.
capitalize on
And
those.
And I really think that's the number one rule in business. If you want to succeed in business, do what you do good. And the stuff that you don't do, get somebody that's good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be sitting down at the end of the year doing my accounting. I'm going to get an accountant.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's exactly what we did when it comes to our logo. If people have been on our Instagram, you probably see the logo from here and there, but none of us can draw whatsoever. But it
Not
turns
even
out-
a little bit.
Yeah, it turns out my dad is a very talented artist.
Right.
So we went to him and said, "Hey, can you draw us up a logo?" And it turned out amazing. And
Right.
we never would have had something even close to that had we done it ourselves.
Yeah, we would have been rocking with stick figures and something like that.
Well, my actual label, I have altered it a little bit, but my buddy down in Houston, Texas, Colby Black, he actually came up with the label, and you'll actually see him on one of the YouTube videos that, I mean, he's really helped me out. I mean, what a solid guy, an MMA wrestler, good solid guy, but don't mess with him. He's tough. All right, thanks, Colby, if you're out there, buddy.
Does he do graphic design, or is he just helping a friend out?
You know, I'm not really sure what he does. I believe he's
Catches a lot of fish now.
I think kind of both. I think he's in the industry as a hobby. I'm not sure what he does for a living, but it's guys like that that really energize my spirits. I mean, there's somebody out there that's never met me that's just willing to, you know,
He sees that you got a good thing
he
going, you got a
reads my
good,
story.
reputable product.
And it was funny because I never even gave any to Colby Black. I gave somebody, the Ditch Pickle Boys, they're down in Houston, Texas. It's a fishing group. I sent them about 6 bottles. And my friend Billy Wells down there was giving them away at a tournament. And Colby won one of the tournaments and got a bottle of my bait buddy. So it's weird how the product gets out there.
It's like a ripple effect,
Yeah,
kind of.
it's like fishing. I mean, I casted it down to the Ditch Pickle Boys, to Billy Wells
I
down there.
love that name. by the way.
That sounds like
Yeah.
a rowdy group of
I
guys
gotta,
there.
I gotta get
Okay.
a hold of these guys.
Well, I talked to my buddy Manny Carusco. Hey, how you doing, Manny, if you're out there? And I told him, I said, I'm getting ready to come down to Houston. And he said, you better stop by. And when I'm down there, I'm going to find out what them Ditch Pickle Boys are all about.
We gotta get some apparel.
I'm
Ditch
telling you,
Pickle.
right?
I feel
So
like
you
they could
guys
have
are
a field
listening
day
out
with
there, how's
apparel.
it going, guys?
That's awesome.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of groups out there. When I went down to Gatlinburg, I never met Joe Brown.
Just go ahead and get a little bit closer to.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
You're good.
No, when I went down to Gatlinburg, I wanted to introduce myself to Joe Brown. I've been in contact with the guy for about 5 years, and I went down there, and he introduced me to some people down there. And if you're looking for something fun to do, go down and there's so much to do down in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. You can fish, you can hunt, you can go to caves, and actually, my buddy Joe Brown's in Knoxville, Tennessee, which is close enough.
We did a small trip through the Gatlinburg. Actually, we were for Tom. He bought a truck down in Alabama. It was an '87 Chevy, and we drove all the way to Alabama in a rental car. And then me and Tom hopped in this '87 Chevy, sight unseen, bought it, and drove it home back to Erie, Pennsylvania.
Nice
kinda
short ride.
Yeah, kind of risky, and it was a dual tank truck back in the '80s when they had dual tanks. Well, it was 2 10-gallon tanks, and
Probably got about 40 miles out of those 2 tanks.
well, there was only one tank, so we had a 10-gallon tank to drive. I don't even know the miles, but
1,500 miles.
We could
probably.
drive about an hour and 45 minutes before we had to stop to fill up.
That's
but
nice.
That's awesome.
so anyway, we stopped in Gatlinburg actually because the Old Smoky Moonshine distillery is down that way, and we wanted to check it out. I mean, you drive through Gatlinburg, it's almost impossible not to check it out because it's just incredible. And we stopped, parked the truck in a parking ramp, went to lock the doors, did our thing, came back, found out that the guy never gave us the key to unlock the doors. But back in the 80s, security systems weren't very high, and all you had to do was just slide the back window open, and we
We
sent
are telling everybody how to break into my truck now.
anybody from the 80s knows this trick.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone's going to be dying to break into that thing, Tom.
But it was just, it's like you said, Gatlinburg was really cool. And getting to do that trip with Tom was pretty fun. But I went to college down in Williamsport, and there's a guy down there that runs a local fly fishing club, and the guy's kind of out there, and he's probably not listening to this, but his name's Mike Patterson, is one of my welding instructors, and I gave him about a dozen bottles to disperse to his guys, and he's all about natural remedies and everything, and he's a welder and always has dry hands, and he actually said that the Bait Buddy moisturizes his hands really well. He said his wife doesn't like the smell of it, but when he's out in the shop, he does use the Bait Buddy on his hands. The guy, I mean, he's out there. I wouldn't recommend it, but it's good for your skin, I guess, if anything else.
Nick, I'm not opposed to changing the label if it's going to work as a hand cream.
If it's a hand cream.
Yeah, right.
Essential oils are big right now, and
Yeah, right.
so Uncle Norm's
Well, I
essential
don't know
oils.
if you're going to want that scented oil with you and your girl.
Yeah, it works on big
But
bucks.
if she's a
fish.
if she's a fisherman, she'll love it. But
Yeah.
no, it's not a bad smell. It's not an offensive smell.
No, it's anybody that's used a.
So you would recommend dabbing a little on your neck before you go to the bar?
You can give it a shot, and if it works, like I said, Frankie, I'll change the label. You know what I mean? And
Just
if
have 15 different labels made up,
Yeah.
whichever one you want to apply it to.
Actually, I have a couple people that were using it for ice fishing, but the problem is they are oils, and they will gel. But the one guy was commenting on when he reels it in, it actually lubricates his reel.
Oh, yeah.
And he likes that aspect of it. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a good
multi-purpose.
product for $8.25.
You got a face cream, a hand cream,
I
fishing
made
lure.
it for fishing, but guys, if it's gonna work for whatever, for $8.25, why not?
For sure.
But yes, it does work good on fishing. But if you're gonna use it for hand cream, a real lubricant, that's great too.
Yeah, I do want to clarify. It's not, like you said, it's not an offensive smell. It's not anywhere compared to like a catfish bait by any means. It's like, I don't want to compare it to any other product because it's not like any other product, and that's something I think fishing attractants I think are kind of saturated, and everybody's just trying to make the same thing with a different label. And
Yeah, I agree with that.
I've
Like,
noticed
no matter what it is, it smells the same,
Right,
it looks the same, it's all the same product, but
Right.
with a different label on it. But
with Uncle Norm's Bait Buddy, that was the first thing, and I'm not just saying this because you're my uncle. It was.
Right.
I have a little idea what's in it. I don't know the full formula,
Right.
but I know it's different from what everybody else is using, and that it sets it aside from everybody else. It doesn't smell the same. There's something in there that just drives wildlife in general. Like it attracts fish, bucks, bears. Like you said, we had trail cam pictures of a bear checking out a stump, and it was just kind of a neat concept to it.
Well, I've done my homework on the products that are in here, and the one product that I put in here, and I believe it's probably the main ingredient. When I was doing my research, every attractant, every lure out there had this one common denominator product. So I don't know if it's that. I don't know, but I don't care.
yeah, if it works, it works.
If it's working, right. I mean, it's a good product. I'm proud of it. Like I said, part of it is just meeting the good people out there, and I'm looking forward to doing this for years to come. And it's going to work. I mean, it's all over the place, up and down the Outer Banks in North Carolina. I'm excited about it. And I recently, a friend of mine just retired Navy SEAL instructor. What's going on, Rob? If you're out there, his boy Landon Lasky has a YouTube. Would it be a YouTube channel, guys?
YouTube
Okay.
channel, yeah. If you have an
Okay.
account on YouTube that you're putting videos on, it's a YouTube channel.
You can tell that I'm lacking in my skills on the internet.
No, that's
But
like
yeah,
you said. That's not one of your strengths. So you let somebody else
That's
do
right,
it.
right.
And,
I'm going around talking to the people, exactly.
and you don't actually have a YouTube account, but there's been tons of videos that other people are
Yeah.
producing using Uncle Norm's Bait Buddy, which is, I mean, that speaks for itself to me. I mean, if you've got a product that you don't even have to make a YouTube page because everybody else is just making
Right.
videos using Uncle Norm's Bait Buddy, which, might be shooting themselves in the foot because these tournaments they're winning
They're
now,
doing
everybody
all the
knows.
work for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're letting their own secret out. I mean,
Right.
it's the same thing. I got secret hunting spots I don't tell anybody about, or a certain doe urine that I use.
Right.
You don't tell all your secrets, and I think that, like you said
Right.
earlier, it's a problem you're running into.
Right.
But I mean, it's a matter of time before everybody
Yeah,
figures it
you know,
out.
it really is. And the reason I'm heading down to Key West, I want to stop down in Miami. I have a couple of people that are using my product with great success down in Miami. Actually, one of the YouTube videos, it's more of a 20-minute show. I love it, Bill. But he's catching snakeheads, he's catching bass,
So is he like inland in like freshwater?
he's freshwater. He just inquired about saltwater. It's working in saltwater too. Like you said, it's a curiosity. You know what I mean? And they're hitting on it. And if you watch my YouTube videos, they're very impressive. I like them. I had nothing to do with making them. That's what I like about it. These were actually people that believed in my product, and they said, you know what? We know this guy. He's okay. We're going to help him out any way I can. And that's what's just been awesome about it. I've regained, not that I've ever lost faith in humanity, but
Sometimes
There's things that make you question.
Yeah.
it.
right, right. Okay, I guess I like the way you put that, Nick. There's been a couple of things that made you question it, but then you meet people out there that are just willing to help you without even knowing who you are. That's why I feel obligated to go out there and just shake some hands, let them know that they are doing business with a good, solid guy, not just some corporate knucklehead behind a desk.
That's, I think, super important for any business is just getting out there and, like you said, shaking hands. It means so much more to people if you can meet the guy behind the product. I mean, you know, that's a big thing with like outdoor shows and everything. Everybody's got like an idol that they look up to, or in any industry, whether it's football or hunting. You know, everybody knows Stan Potts when it comes to hunting.
Right.
In the fishing industry, everybody's got somebody that they like to watch, and it's just so for you to be open about putting your face out there as like you're the man behind Bait Buddy. I'm not too stuck up to meet the little kid fishing on
Right.
the bank. You know, it's a neat or a really great concept, really, to just you're not too good to
Right.
meet anybody. That's part of your business is getting out there and meeting people.
Right. Well, my last trip when I went down to Gatlinburg and I worked my way all through North Carolina and Outer Banks, if I was driving down the road and I seen an exit and it said lake somewhere, I went and
Yeah,
literally,
just drive around and check it out.
Yeah.
See if there's someone that would want some.
if I seen somebody with a fishing pole, I'd go up and start talking to them. And it was just great because most people are just so responsive. People want to be social, but they don't know how to start. I've met such good people out there, made really good many friendships. I'm proud of the product. I'm proud of where it's taken me, and I'm hoping in the future, guys, you can take it over with your products. I mean, my nephew Corey, you guys' cousin, makes duck calls. I mean, I'm in the door. I'm on a national platform with Field and Stream. So I think that's the most important part in business is obviously a good product, but making your relationships,
Yeah,
making
for
your
sure.
contacts.
And that's why, like, we kind of started the podcast because, we had kind of a small reputation on Instagram, but, like we told you before, we want to kind of bring people to the table with
Right.
us with this podcast, and, it helps people get to know us, like when they see the stuff on Instagram and different things,
Right.
I don't want to say they know us for sure, but they have a little bit of an idea what we're about, who we
Right.
are, different things that we're about, what gets us outside, and all that stuff. So it's just kind of the same thing like what you're talking about right now.
Well, I'll tell you, I absolutely love what you guys are doing here is getting out there, talking to the people, supporting your local business. Anybody, if you have something on your mind, I mean, you're promoting small business. If you have something on your mind, a product, this is a good format, a good place to go.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
We want to hit products we believe in and use. Like you said, we were with you, back in like 2013 when we first started testing it,
Right.
running 2 rods off the
Yeah.
pond out back. One with Bait Buddy, one without. And so, like you said, we've been using it for a long time and really like it. And that's kind of why we wanted to bring you on there is, get other people to know about it. I
Right.
mean, even though you've gone way above from us, hitting Field and Stream and North Dakota and Texas and Florida, like it's just been incredible to watch how crazy it's gone. Like it's like I said, it's like wildfire, really.
Yeah,
just
it went
spreading.
from fishing in your backyard to now it's all over the country.
And that's why we brought Hunter too. He's a local entrepreneur. It's something we believed in and cleaning up the
Right.
environment. So anybody that we're bringing on here is somebody we believe in and
Right.
respect as a
Right.
individual and as a business. That's kind of what we want to stay to.
Well, I tell you guys, reputation is everything. That's the only thing you really have in this world, and that's one thing I'm huge on. And people know that when they talk to me. I'm a poker player. I've been playing poker for a lot of years. I can read people.
You got a lot of candy out of young kids.
Well, you know,
from-
hey,
It
guys,
goes back to the wrestling practice, bubble gum and poker.
I like to consider that, guys, as tough love. what they're talking about, America out there, is I
well,
believe.
the world, actually. We did have our first listener from
Oh,
Ireland.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, I'm worldwide, huh? All right.
It's global.
But one of the best games out there, I believe, is poker. Is playing poker, not for the gambling aspect. It's for the reading people, for the brain skill, for the brain exercises. If you play poker, you get good at reading people. And every single thing you do in this world is a negotiation, and you are going to have the upper hand if you know how to read people.
Yeah, if you can learn people's body language, how they're acting in different situations. When you go up to talk to someone about Bait Buddy, you know, the way they're acting will tell
Right.
you
I mean,
what to
I
do.
can tell if I'm dealing with a con guy or a solid guy. I mean, it's a great. Now, maybe I shouldn't have taught my niece when she was 7 years old how to play cards. But
I think we were all younger than 7 when you taught us.
probably.
Yeah, you stole all of our Halloween candy. We used to use, you had king size bars might be worth $5, and your fun size bars
Right.
were $2, and we'd play poker. November 1st or the night after Halloween, we'd be getting together with Uncle Norm and playing poker for candy, and my pile always seemed to shrink. We learned a lot. It was like I said, it was a lot of fun, and
It was
it
tough
helps
love,
you read
guys.
people.
It was tough love. I don't think I enjoyed all that candy.
Yeah.
But now, is the statute of limitations up on corrupting the morals of a minor? Am I okay with teaching you guys how to play poker?
No, I think even it's helped us as we're very new into the outdoor industry, but it's been very easy to read people, and we've also realized what we want to be and what we want to stay away from, just from
Right.
dealing with other people, and because
We want to stay away from people that take our Halloween candy playing cards.
Hey, man, guys,
get
that was
better.
in the past.
we talk to our therapist, I guess. But no, I mean, White Cat, when we first, it was actually more of just like a idea between us, and we've talked about it on an earlier podcast. But we've seen what other people are like, and you can read the way they are, and we want to be our own people and run our own path. And I think reading people like what you had taught us has helped us decide what we don't want to be.
You meet quality people, and you know if somebody's trying to buffalo you, you can tell that, okay, this guy, he's not a sincere person. Yeah, and that's helped me. And I don't care if anybody reads me. I hope they do read me, because I'm a solid guy. I mean, I'm the same person that you're going to meet. I mean, I'm not going to change. That's what's important to me. Is the money, it'll be there. If it can pay for my travels, I'm happy with that. I like meeting the people. I love the traveling. And I'm going down. I have a buddy of mine that's down in Key West, Florida. He's Jimmy Buffett's stage manager. So, JL, if you're listening.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah. If you're listening, JL, I'm coming down. I want to ride on your charter boat, too, when I'm down there.
And get some Jimmy Buffett tickets, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. A little bit of Jimmy Buffett.
I'd like to wear a
and
Tommy
JL's
Bahama shirt
actually
with Jim
from
Buffett.
JL Jameson is actually from Edinburgh, Pennsylvania.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah, we went to General McLean. We know a lot of the same people. We're definitely kindred spirits. So I'm hoping to make some good connections down there, because I don't know how many people aren't from Erie, but it gets pretty cold up here. And the older I get, I want to head
The
south.
more you want to go down south.
Speaking of the cold, I know Bait Buddy's also helped you deal with getting over some fears. I remember getting you out on the ice, even. Like I said, Erie's pretty good with cold weather, and bringing you out on the ice to sell Bait Buddy.
I remember
Well,
the first time I ever saw you out on the ice. We had probably 2 feet of ice. It was the winter, like 13, 14, or 14, 15.
Right.
And we had like 3 straight weeks. It was -20 every day, and we had 2 feet of ice.
People
and
were driving their snowmobiles out on the ice, carrying their ice huts and stuff behind it. That's how thick the ice
Yeah,
was.
But
and
they were spreading the weight out, Tom.
yeah, you came out. We were fishing, and you're like, I got to get out of here. This is no good.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I went ice fishing. The next time I go ice fishing, I will follow the bulldozer if he's going out on the ice. But if somebody sees me out on the ice, there's foul play involved because I'm not going back out. It's just, yeah, it was crazy. My nephew Nick here is sitting on my left. He weighs about the same as I do, about 210 pounds, and I'm walking like I'm walking on glass, and Nick starts walking up to me just like nothing, and I'm like, hold it, Nick.
Get the hell
Hold it
away
there,
from me,
just-
dude.
Mind you, I have a magnet for open water when there's supposed to be ice. I have not. I'm not proud of this, but I've fallen through almost every season at some point. Whether it's I fall in somebody's ice hole, or
Gotta watch out for the ice holes.
Got too close to a muskrat hole.
a muskrat hole that was flagged
That
off.
was your own stupidity.
But somehow jumping in the same
There was
spot
orange
on
flags
ice.
all around this area saying, "Thin ice, stay out." And Nick decided to go check it out.
That
and
must be the spot to walk.
So I can totally understand why you don't want me getting too close to you, because I do find thin ice in open
Right.
water. But yeah, I remember. Yeah, he was. The only reason you were out there is to promote the product, and it's pretty cool to get the product out there, and
Right.
if that's what it takes to keep it
You know,
going.
right, and I was willing to go out on the ice, so I believe in the product, but I'm not going out on the ice anymore. I'm sure that, yeah, and I know, Nick, that time we went out, the ice was about 18 inches thick, and they say you can walk on 4 inches of ice, but I'm not.
I think
really,
they say you can drive a semi on 18 inches.
actually 6 inches you can drive a car. I think they were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've never met who they call they, so I don't know.
They could be very
They don't
not
have any-
credible.
They don't have any credibility with me. But yeah, I mean, back to the product. Just it's a solid product. You're doing business with a solid guy. When somebody does help me, I pay them well. I pay people a living wage. And my next move is T-shirts and hats. And my T-shirts and hats will be made in America. I love this country. I love the opportunities it offers me. It's great. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys doing this. This is a great idea. But it is my next step. There's a lot of steps I'm going to be taking. Like I said, growing pains. I'm going to be doing this for 30 more years. So I'm getting into a lot of different things. And if anybody has anything that could help me, any suggestions, feel free. I would appreciate the thought, the idea, because that's honestly that's how businesses grow.
Yeah,
with
definitely.
people.
We ask for people's feedback on the podcast and stuff.
Yeah.
Hit us up on Instagram. Just send us a message. Tell us what you like,
let
what you
us
don't
know.
like.
Yeah.
We don't know what you want if you don't tell us.
That's what I mean. You know what I mean? I don't want, and I love the honesty of people out there. You know what I mean? Because I've had people be like, I'd give them my product and they'd be like, well, Norm, I'm going to be brutally honest. I said, that's the guys I want. I don't want somebody just blowing smoke telling me, oh, yeah, it's a good product. Thanks for the free bottle.
Mm-hmm.
I've had guys that I trust and that I know and that are big fishermen. I'm sold on the product 150%. Now I'm just going to have fun with it, figure out different ways to sell it and market it. And nothing's in stone. I mean, if anybody has, I love taking ideas and suggestions from other people because then I get to see it at a different angle. You know what I mean? I'm 53 years old. I'm not 22. I don't look at life like that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So any input I can get, I love it. I absolutely love it. And I appreciate. I mean, what you guys are doing here is just awesome. I had a thought, and I can't think of it now. But I mean, the bottom line is, I'm here. I'm going to be here for 35 more years, peddling my fishing stuff, traveling all over the country, and I can't wait. And I do have to give a shout out to my buddy Landon Lasky. He's over there in San Diego promoting my stuff. He's got a YouTube channel too. I don't know how to subscribe to it. So yes,
Most of the people listening, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button for them.
Yeah.
But it's
Okay.
Yeah, they'll
Okay,
figure it out.
but he wants me to subscribe to it. He doesn't know that I don't know anything about the computer.
It's not like the local newspaper. It's way easier. We could show you.
You know, and the thing is, I know it's easy. I mean, companies are going to make it user friendly so everybody can use it. But if you don't know how to do something, you don't know how to do it. I mean, if you didn't know how to tie your shoes, you couldn't do that until somebody showed you. I'm sure it's easy and I'm sure it's user friendly, but not knowing is not knowing.
Yeah,
And
that's
I don't know.
the benefit of just
Right.
asking, and we'll, like you said, we help you along the way. And you're actually working on a website right now. You said
Yeah, I'm actually working on a website, and I'm actually going back to school, and I'm taking up web design because it's just I don't like having to depend on somebody else for my website.
So was that Bait Buddy that drove that to go back to school for web design?
Well, actually, I got laid off from my job, and they're sending me to school for that. You know what
But
I
I
mean?
mean, you're picking something that's useful
Yes,
for yourself.
Yes,
Something that you can use for this product.
Yes,
you know.
it's working out perfect, and I'm
Like
a
you
guy.
said, it's just
Yeah.
things happen for a reason. And
Yeah, I mean, it's just falling into place.
Once you're done with that, we're gonna have to hire you to do our website, so we don't have to have Nick over here doing all our work
I'll
anymore.
tell you that is the key. I mean, I was having a girl, Carly, how you doing out there? She was helping me with my webpage, and she was doing a great job. But I have to learn this stuff for myself because I like change. I like to mix things up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I can't rely on somebody else every time I want to change something on my webpage. Call them up. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
it's
yeah.
always a benefit to be able to do
But
it
yeah,
yourself.
I mean, I'm still going through growing pains. I don't think that'll ever stop. But
Yeah, no,
I'm
definitely
excited
not.
where the product's going. I'm excited for the possibilities, and I'm really excited about meeting some good people out there.
For sure.
So I know you've done a lot of travel on the East Coast, but have you moved towards the West Coast much, or has that all just been through email or Facebook or however you're contacting?
If you go west of the Mississippi, I haven't really gone out there much. On a 2-week trip, I really don't have time to go out west.
Yeah, when you got 4
yeah.
days of traveling to
Right.
California, or, wherever
Right.
to the West Coast, it kind of shoots the whole week.
But eventually, it's all. Eventually, I'm really hoping I can spend a couple months on the road at a time. I mean, I will always. I love.
How long are you going to Florida for?
2-3 weeks. I don't know. It depends. I'm gonna have a bunch of bottles of my Bait Buddy with me, and my vacations. I seem to have fun with them a little bit. So
You pretty much
Make
go
it to a
with
few local bars while you're down there.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Maybe a couple just to see what they're all about.
See how the food is.
Right. I heard people go to those places for entertainment. Yeah. So
We've actually, I mean, going to bars is actually a pretty neat way to network with people as well,
Yeah.
because we've used that for our hunting
Everywhere
trips.
we go, yeah.
We are one of the big things when we're going on hunting trips, we focus on trying to eat at local bars strictly
Right.
for food and meeting with people.
We never go to chain restaurants.
Right.
Whenever, like when we go rattlesnake hunting, or when Nick and I went to Ohio,
Right.
and I'm sure you guys did it when you were in Kansas turkey
Well, and
hunting.
Maryland.
And Maryland,
The
yeah.
Briar
We
Patch.
we never go to big restaurants. We try to find, small local
Yeah.
places and taverns, and just meet people and get to talking with them. That's not even related to what we're
Yeah.
there for. We're not talking hunting, fishing, whatever. But eventually the conversation leads there, and they, oh yeah, I got property over here. You're more than welcome to come hunt it, and
Right.
it doesn't always lead to that, but like you're networking with people, you're meeting new people. You never know where that connection's gonna go.
that's what's exciting about it. I mean, you can meet somebody that'll totally put you in a different direction. It's a great direction. You never even considered it, and that's what the great thing is about networking. That you meet people, and there's so many things out there. With my own personal experience with Bait Buddy, there was things out there that I never even knew I had to address until they came about. It's like, oh boy, I didn't even realize that. Wow, if I'd have done that on a big scale, I could have ruined myself.
Yeah.
So when something hasn't gone the way it should or the way I think it was, I just have faith that it's not meant to be yet. It'll happen when it's happened. And I am a faithful person. I mean, I have a strong faith, and that's helped me a lot with Bait Buddy. I mean, it's kind of weird how they relate, but when something doesn't go your way, you have the belief that it's not meant to be yet.
Yeah, it'll eventually work itself out.
And it really
Eventually,
has.
it'll all happen.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've for months at a time, I've gone, why is this happening? Why is this happening? And then a couple months down the road, I'm like, oh, that's why it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
So
Kind of looking back on
yeah,
the
so
past, and then it's like, oh, okay, for sure.
yeah, so now
It was a good learning experience.
And there has been a couple times throughout my Bait Buddy that I've questioned myself. I'm like, boy, is this really worth doing? You know what I mean? And I'm telling you, I don't know what it is, but within an hour, somebody would chime in, hey, Norm, I really... So it was almost like a sign that said, just keep doing it. Just
Keep making Bait
don't,
Buddy,
Don't
yeah.
worry about the struggles. Don't worry about people not talking about my product. I get it, guys. I get it. But still, I'm coming down to Miami, so...
That's a pretty unique problem to have with a company, because I never
yeah.
really even considered that, because it makes sense at the same time. If you've
Yeah.
got a secret, even in like competitive sports or
Right.
MMA or whatever, if you've got a secret move or tactic
Yeah,
or
dude.
training process, why would you tell everybody why
That's
you're
what I
doing
mean.
so much better?
I mean, you guys are all big hunters. If all of a sudden, boom, Frankie, you were knocking down the biggest deer, and people were like, Frankie, what do you...
Yeah, people would start
Boomer
asking
after boomer.
Are you
questions.
going to tell them? You know what I mean?
Probably not.
You know
I mean,
what I
I
mean?
would.
So-
You drop the little hints
Yeah,
here
right.
and there, but you don't.
Yeah,
Yeah, come
right.
sit in my stand. Here you
Yeah,
go.
right. Yeah, right.
You just tell them that you only hunt out of spruce trees.
Literally nothing but.
Go
Yeah.
find a spruce tree, man.
Yeah, if you're in the spruce,
Yeah,
that's where the
right.
bucks are. You just kind of lead them down a different path.
Now, how often do you guys do your podcast?
It's a weekly thing,
Okay.
and we're very committed to making it at least one a week.
Right, okay.
So when we were in Ohio, we broke it into 2 shorter episodes.
Right.
That we released during the week. We always release on Sunday morning, and when we were in Ohio, we did like one on Monday, I think,
We did
and then
we did one on Saturday and then Tuesday.
Right.
so
but-
it was just to kind of break up our hunt and
Right,
bring
okay.
people on the road with us, kind of to say, this is what we're doing, this is how our hunt's going.
Right out of the hotel that we were staying in. So
Yeah.
Okay.
we came back from our hunt, sat down, did a quick podcast to talk about how that day went,
Right.
and went that way. But yeah, we're shooting for one, or actually not shooting. We will be putting out one a week.
Okay.
We're committed to that. It's important for us. We want to try and get guests on there because I think that makes it more interesting and
yeah.
to just show new people.
A wide scope of subjects. Also.
Yeah, and we've
Yeah, and
noticed.
that's like a big thing, like why we started doing it is
Right.
because the majority of podcasts are so focused on one thing, and
Right.
the last podcast and now this podcast we're mainly talking about fishing,
Right.
and
But the one before that was hunting. As we
Right.
come into spring, it's going to be talking about turkeys, and
Right.
in the summer, we'll be talking about more fishing and rattlesnakes. And there was no podcast that made a full circle throughout the year of different
Right.
things. We're outdoors. We're not just
Right.
hunting. We're not just fishing.
Right.
We hit everything that has to do with the outdoors. Yeah,
That's awesome.
and it gives us more freedom to talk
Right.
about different things throughout the year, because bottom line is we realize that we can't be the only people that like to hunt deer and hunt turkeys and hunt rattlesnakes,
Right.
but also like to fish and catch steelhead, and we just knew that there's other people out there that
Right.
feel
With
the same way.
With similar interest. And I'm glad you guys are stepping up to the plate and giving people a format to, just talk about, like you said, whatever they want to talk about. What I like about it, it's not a serious conversation. It's just kind of
we're sitting here drinking beer, having fun,
a
talking.
BS session.
It's exactly it. We want people to
Yeah.
feel like,
Right.
whether if we're talking about fishing, we all came back from
Right.
fishing the pond or the lake or whatever, and we sat
Right.
down, grabbed a beer, and we just started BSing.
Right.
And, if you learn something throughout the show,
Right.
even better. But the big thing is it's entertainment, and
Yeah, right,
it's what we're after.
right.
So,
And you never know where this is going to go either. I mean, you're starting this right now. Who knows? I mean, you could be doing video. You know what I mean? Have a live BS session. Sponsors could. You never know. That's what's nice about taking the initiative to do something, because there's just so many ways that it can go.
Yeah,
the
so many
options are
doors
endless.
can open
Yeah.
when you just
Yeah.
start doing something.
And if you look at a lot of the products throughout history, they didn't get started that way. You know what I mean? They kind of spewed off in another direction. Oh, okay, well, we can use this product for this. I mean, there's a lot of products like that.
Yeah, I mean this. I think what works for us is it's a passion of ours. We're actually losing money by putting this
Right.
podcast out. Paying for equipment
Right.
and a domain to put the podcast on and our website. So we're not doing this for money. We're doing this because we enjoy it and feel like other people will enjoy it too. So that's the reason we do it, and I think that's why it's gonna be as good as it is. It's not
You know,
something we're being paid to do it. We're only doing it because we love it.
I love you guys' attitude, and people have to realize that money is not the driving force in this country. Friendships, networking,
Yeah,
doing
the
something
passion
on your
just
own.
to do
Yeah,
it, you
just
know.
having that passion. I'm not making any money on Bait Buddy right now. I'm probably breaking even, but I don't care. I'm meeting such good quality people out there, and consider it a hobby. I'm not much of a drinker. It keeps me out of the bars.
Yeah, it's
So,
if
Might
can
get
find
you
a way-
into a few bars down in Miami.
actually, kind of a funny story here. I hope I'm not ratting out any state police here, but this was a few months ago. I got pulled over late night. I was leaving the bar, and I wasn't drunk. I had a couple, but the cop wanted to know what I was up to. You know what I mean? I didn't put my turn signal on. He turned, he pulled me over, and we started talking. And I had a box of Bait Buddy on my passenger seat. And he asked me what that was, and I started talking to him. And I ended up giving him a couple bottles, and I never got a ticket. So,
So that's another use for
gonna
them. You
say,
can
that's-
pay
yeah.
pay traffic
know-
citations with it.
And one of my biggest paychecks that I ever got from Bait Buddy, this was a couple years ago. I was handing it out, and the one guy, told me that, he doesn't really fish a whole lot. Him and his son used to go out, but he doesn't fish a whole lot anymore. And he wrote me back a couple months later. He's like, Norm, I want to let you know, me and my son go out fishing all the time now. He's like, and our relationship has actually grown. And I'm telling you what, guys, that was a paycheck that you can't replace that. I was like, that's one of the indirect benefits of doing this. Is, and I can really see it. You know what I mean? Hey, they're catching fish now, man. They're out there having a good time. They're bonding. That was just awesome.
They're no longer fishing; they're just catching now, and it brought them back out there.
And I'm telling you, with hunting and fishing, half of the fun is just being out there.
Absolutely.
definitely.
I agree with that
Just-
100%.
Just
We can
being-
all agree that our favorite hunting memories
Right.
have nothing to do with actually pulling the trigger or releasing an
Yeah.
arrow. When we went to Maryland turkey hunting, there was me, Tom, Frank, all in the room here, and our buddy Sharpie, and we spent 5 days down in Maryland. Not a single turkey was killed, and it was probably one of my favorite hunting memories
Right.
ever. We all, four of us stayed in a
Right.
tent up in the mountains of Maryland.
Right.
We paid like $10 to camp
Right.
on the state forest. We were at the top of this mountain,
Right.
looking over this massive ravine, and like you said, we didn't kill anything, but it was our favorite memory,
Right.
for one of my favorite hunting memories.
Yeah, we have all of us have so many stories that we tell all the time, over and over again.
Right, yeah.
Just from that 5 days of hunting, we
Right.
have 100 different stories we can tell about those couple of days just hanging out with each other, even though we didn't kill anything.
But yeah, during Christmas Eve, everybody was talking about their hunting experiences, and it wasn't, well, I shot this, I was bullshitting with my buddies. I was having a good time. You know what I mean? And those are the important things in the world. I mean, the money that'll show up. But I've never seen an armored car at a funeral home, so that's not my number one priority.
That's a really good point
You
to
know
make.
what I mean? People get too wrapped up in it. Although I wish I had a little bit more so I could get an automatic bottler machine, but that'll come too. But that,
sure
You
You're
mean
getting pretty
that's
quick
not
with the
part of
hands.
the high-tech apartment?
No. The high tech apartment thing is me. But I'll tell you what, it's pretty productive. I mean, yesterday,
You said 400 bottles in a
yeah,
night.
400 bottles in a day, so that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not great at math up
That's
and
a lot
upstairs.
of drinking, though. 400 bottles in one day.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah, and then I made some bait buddies.
Yeah, got a dozen bait buddy
Yeah,
bottles.
right. Yeah, right. Now, how long do your podcasts usually last?
So the podcast we try to shoot for about an hour.
Right.
We're not super firm.
Right.
It's got to hit 60 minutes, and we
Right.
shut it down. Our first podcast was like 50 minutes, and then me and
Okay.
Frank did 2 shorter ones.
Right.
The last podcast we did was like 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
So it's really you don't want to drag anything out.
I know
so.
that. Well, people's attention span's about 45 minutes. After that, they kind of just start drifting off. You know what I mean? That's another thing I learned. I went to school. I had my English teacher, Miss A. If you're out there, how's it going? She taught me that you have to be a carpenter with words. You have to get your message across in as little words as you possibly can. I know myself, even a long comment on Facebook, I don't want to read it.
Yeah, I feel that for
You know,
sure.
and a lot of people do. I mean, I want to get your attention right now. And it was funny when my first trip on the road, I was in eastern Tennessee, all through North Carolina in the Outer Banks. And it was funny. I mean, I'd walk into a place and they'd look at me like, oh my God, what's this guy selling here? And when I said, hey, I'm giving away free stuff, it was, wow. It was just so...
With no catch, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
it
that's
wasn't
Well, there's
like
plenty of
we'll give-
catches.
We'll give you, there are a lot of catches, actually.
Yeah.
Twist of the words.
Well, no, but yeah, I mean, you're right. People have become so gun shy. Well, you're giving away, nothing's free. What's going on? What's happening here? No, it's just free. You know what I mean? I would give it because I believe in the product. If I didn't believe in the product, I certainly wouldn't be giving stuff away.
You said you're going to have to work on maybe a warning label that you could
Yeah.
become addicted to fishing if you keep using this stuff, because you said you're bringing people that used to not
Yeah.
fish anymore back to doing it every
Right,
day.
I know.
The Surgeon General's warning.
I want to tell you this one story. I was in the Outer Banks, and I walked into this bait store, and there were 4 elderly gentlemen, and they looked like my kind of guys. They looked at me like, "What do you got going?" And as soon as I opened my mouth, they knew I was a Yankee. So right off the bat, they're looking at me like, "What do you want?" But I mean, I broke the ice, gave them some free stuff, and that's another thing that my poker experiences helps me.
Where did you meet these guys? Or is it just like a...
It was just a bait store I walked in.
okay, so you
Yeah,
just...
it was in the Outer Banks in North Carolina.
Okay, so you just walked into
Yeah.
a bait shop,
But
happened
yeah,
to be
but
some
they,
old
but they
timers.
gave me that look, Nick, like, oh man, what's this Yankee got going to sell me now? And I'm like, guys, I'm just giving away free stuff.
Yeah, it's tough to argue with if you're going to give away
Yeah, well, I'm just
free
giving
bait
it
buddy
away.
and
No,
catch some fish.
no catches, just use it.
Lots of catches
Yeah,
in the
right.
water, none with the product.
Right, yeah, right.
That could be a slogan.
But no, I'm having a blast with it. I don't know where it's going to lead. Who knows? You know, who cares? Just I'm sitting back. I'm enjoying the ride.
That's the exciting part
Yeah.
about it, is that it's
Yeah.
unknown what's going on
Well-
past here. That's what we love about the podcast as well. We have no idea where it's going to lead. We just know that we love doing what we're doing, just
Yeah.
like you, and just let it kind of be its own thing, kind of let it grow organically and
Yeah.
take off.
And if you have a passion for something, your juices are flowing. You're thinking. You're going, okay, what's the next step? If you don't have passion for something, then your ideas kind of just stop.
Yeah, they fizzle
You know
out
what I
quick
mean?
if you're not
But
always
if you
thinking
have a
about
passion,
it.
You're going, guys, okay, man, people are paying attention to our podcast. What can we do to step it up a little bit? I think your format's great. And you said you guys are actually working on video?
Yeah, we
Okay.
did start. One of the members of White Cat, Luke, he's been on the podcast. You
Right.
obviously know Luke, but he just purchased a very high-end camera that we're going to be doing.
Okay.
We're going to videotape the podcast to give people something to watch
Right.
while they listen, and also we're going to be doing some different outdoor-related videos. I don't want to
Right.
get into it too much, but yeah, that's kind of the route we're going with it.
Right. No, and everything in time, and you guys are going to have fun on the adventure. But before you get the video, let me know that I want to get a fresh buff on my head. Every
We don't
car-
want too much glare
I
on the
know,
camera.
I know. I'll tan it down so I don't hurt the video at all.
Yeah, we'll get you a comb. You can juice it
Yeah,
up
no
before
doubt.
we get on
You're
camera.
right. Give me a hairbrush and stuff like that. But yeah, I absolutely love what you guys are doing here.
It's a passion of ours, and
Yeah.
it gives us a reason to do something
Right.
every single day. I'm
Right.
constantly texting Tom and Frank different
Yeah.
ideas that we
Oh,
have.
no doubt.
Not even just about the podcast, just where
Yeah.
we could go with this because
Right.
it's an open market. We can do whatever we want, really.
Right.
It's
Well, I'll tell you what, guy. I think the video is just awesome because I think if people see you guys sitting down and just BSing, you guys look like real people. I mean, you're good, solid guys. You know what I mean? You're not. I never like talking behind a microphone. I want people to see me. That's a big reason I send everybody to my personal page. You're gonna know what I think. You're gonna know that I'm a little bit off sometimes, but I'm
Most of the time.
you say what
okay,
you want.
most of the time. Okay, I'm on sometimes.
Yeah,
But
you say
yeah.
what you want to say, and
Yeah,
you don't hide who you are, and that's a lot of people I think are starting to come back to that.
Yeah.
Where they want to see real people. They don't
Yeah.
want somebody that's prim and proper or
Right.
whatever. They want somebody that's just like them because bottom line is, not everybody's politically correct. You are who you
Yeah.
are, and
You connect with the people that you're most
Right.
like,
yeah. And I'm telling you, I'm not a huge fisherman. I don't hunt. I don't. But I have a connection with the outdoorsmen, just because I grew up in the country and all my brothers hunted. All you guys hunt. I didn't
Luke's
really,
big into fishing.
I
and
didn't really
he's-
see any care packages this year, but that's okay, guys.
Well, you can't
Nick
yell at
didn't
me
kill
because
anything.
Oh, okay.
I didn't kill anything, so
All right. Okay,
you should be
you're
talking to
you're
the
off
two.
the hook there.
You said you got like 6 deer on that side of the table, so
Me and Tom did kill some deer, but I gotta take my one deer to Pat Quinn still
Okay.
and get some jerky made, so that's coming your
Right.
way.
I'm also
So-
taking a deer to Pat, so
So
you'll
you-
get some of that
So if
jerky.
you're taking 40 pounds of deer to Pat, you're probably going to get 30 back.
If we're lucky, yeah.
So you already
You're
talked to
happy
him
get
then.
30.
yeah, he's like a middleman. You just go to Pat and say anybody that brings deer, make sure you throw
Yeah,
the,
right.
the ankle
Well,
meat or something to the
I tell
side.
you, every time we play poker, Pat does bring some good meat.
I don't hear Pat hunting much.
No,
so
well, he doesn't
He's
have
just
to.
shaving off the top.
He doesn't have to. You guys are.
he just
bringing
trims
deer.
the fat.
Right.
No, Pat makes some pretty damn good
Yeah.
jerky and snack sticks. So it'd be enough for me to go to poker.
But yeah, and you guys get a video. You could make some. You know what I mean? Talk about whatever. It's just there's so many possibilities.
That's a whole new learning curve for us.
Yeah.
Luke just got the camera and
Right.
he took me out. He was fishing for steelhead.
Right.
Real big zoom guy.
Yeah, big zoom guy. Found out that zooming in and out like
Right.
crazy is not an attractive thing while
Right.
you're trying to watch it. It feels
Yeah,
like you're
dude.
like it's like watching a fishing show in a rocking chair. Basically, is what I did.
It gives that feel that you're actually on the boat, But
Yeah.
except for in your case, you were on the side of a creek.
No, I was in it. I was laying in the stream the whole time.
So
I was
you're like on your back
Yeah,
floating.
I was becoming one with the fish. But yeah, so it's been a learning curve for us. I know to keep it at one zoom and don't touch it. But it took me 3 hours of footage to figure that out. So
That's the great thing. People talk about failure and stuff, and they get discouraged on failure. There's nothing to be discouraged about if you fail something. Now you'll never do that again. You know how not to do that. And
Yeah.
you'll never have that obstacle again. It's kind of like running into a tree. Okay? If you never do it, you can still do it. You know what I mean? But if you run into it, you're never going to run into it again. So talk about failure. I kind of think there's two sides to every coin. You fail, turn it over. That's a success.
that's what you use to get better fishing or hunting.
Yeah.
If this worked, remember it.
Yeah.
If it didn't, remember that even more because
Yeah.
that's what's going to keep you from doing it again.
There's no such thing as failure. If you're a true entrepreneur and if you have a true passion for wanting to succeed in this life, however you want to make money, you want to make friends, you want to make connections, you want to travel, do whatever you want. You know what I mean? But you have to have the passion and the drive. And I'm telling you, it's exciting to see you guys with that. You know what I mean? Because it's so many people give up on their dreams in the world. They just, well, that's the norm, so we'll just do that. No, it's not the norm. I keep referring back to my poker playing.
And that's why it's Uncle Norm's Bait Buddy. You're away from the norm.
Yeah, right. I don't want to. I'm away from the norm. But I keep reflecting back to my playing poker. This is draw poker. You don't have to play the hand you get. You can throw cards in till you get it. I mean, you guys.
That's a good write it in pen right there. I like that. We do a little segment called Write It in Pen, and I think
Okay.
what you just said about life being like poker,
Right.
and that you don't have to play the hand that you
Yeah.
were dealt. I think that's a good Write It in Pen.
So that's this week's Write It in Pen tip. So pull out your pen and your notepad and listen to Uncle Norm.
right here. That's the life tip right there.
That's it, guys. Just remember, it's draw poker. You don't have to play the hand you get. If you don't like it, throw in a couple cards.
It's a really good point to make.
But you have to keep a positive attitude in this world. I mean, you are going to be tested. You're going to have those days where is this really worth it? Is this really worth it? It's worth it, man. I mean, if you love it and you're meeting the right people, it doesn't matter what your motivation is. If you like it, if you just want to travel, if you don't care about the money, you just want to hang out with your buddies and bullshit a little bit, then great. If you're not hurting anybody, live and let live.
No, that's exactly why we're doing this. We like bullshitting with everybody, and it's hopefully going to give us an opportunity to meet new people as we grow with the show, and bring new people on, BS with them, and that's the exciting part about it. Because for so long, White Cat Outdoors was just this thing we joked about. And
Right.
we decided, there's more people out there like us.
Right.
Let's bring them together on the same platform so everybody can enjoy it.
And like you said, you don't know where this is going to go. There's so many possibilities. I mean, you guys are solid guys. People can read people, and if there's a bunch of bananas sitting around a room bullshitting, people are going to realize that, you know what, these guys are knuckleheads. I'm excited about you guys getting the video so people can see that you guys are the real deal. I mean, you know what I mean? You're just like everybody
Cream of the
else
crop.
out there. You know what I mean? But no, hey, we're all a little bit unique out there, and that's what makes it fun. If every song on the jukebox was the same, it'd be pretty boring.
Well, that's exactly our idea with this platform. Is there's too many podcasts out there that are just one topic
Right.
every single week. It's like,
Yeah.
how many times do you want to hear about the same story? There's a million hunting podcasts.
Right.
Every single one of them's had the same guy
Right.
on there talking about the same thing.
Right.
And I don't know. I love listening to podcasts. There's a lot of good hunting podcasts out
Right.
there. But when I type in a hunting podcast and every single one of them has the
Right.
same guest, it's like, I already listened to this guy. He told me the tactics the same time
Yeah.
last week. Like, what's the point? So I think we're ready for a refreshment. Bring people that haven't been on these podcasts. Talk to people that have a different point of view than every other podcast out there.
Right.
So I'm excited to do this and bring people, just make them well known, because there's so many guys out there that just aren't known because they are, don't have a way to get
Yeah.
out there.
You definitely have to make your mark in this world. Like you said, man, don't be afraid to try something different. I don't care if nobody else is doing it. I'm not those people. You have to find something that drives you. Like you said, guy, you love hunting. You love the outdoors. You love fishing. You love everything about it. You're taking this to the next level. You know there's millions of guys out there just like you that would love to have, hey, okay, man, I can relate to these guys, and you got a group going on now, and I'm excited about this for you guys.
Yeah, and we hope those people contact us and say, hey,
Yeah.
love what you guys are doing.
Right.
Maybe I could get on there because they have something unique that they
Right.
haven't heard. And that's the whole idea
Right.
about this. We're not necessarily shooting for – we don't want to bring the same people over and over. We want to show
Right.
something new.
Right.
And, I mean, even if you bring somebody that's been on – a million other podcasts,
Right.
we're not against that. We just want to bring something out of them that hasn't been
We
talked
want to
about.
put a different spin
topics.
on things
Right.
and
We
get a
don't- you-
different.
You don't want to rerun every week.
Yeah,
know what I
I'm
mean? I
totally
get it.
fine with bringing somebody big on, which would be
Right.
awesome. But our goal is to talk about something that hasn't been on everything
Right.
else. We want to learn something more about them
Right.
that they're not talking about all the time.
Right. Oh, no doubt. No doubt. This is a great idea. And now, do you guys do it every Tuesday night?
No, it's we're kind of like I said, we're all working class people. So
Right.
obviously we all work full time or full time students. So it's whenever we can get together with either ourselves or if we're trying to get a guest
Right.
like yourself together, we do it. But we do release every Sunday.
Okay.
So this podcast will be released on Sunday,
Okay.
but to the listeners, no difference.
Right.
But that's basically the way it works. We record and then release Sunday.
Okay.
Just kind of, your
Right.
this is eventually is going to be everybody's favorite episode. They know
Right.
it comes out Sunday morning.
Right. Okay.
That's the idea.
Now, is there a certain time Sunday so people can kind of know when, like somebody in Utah can go, okay, I know at 8 o'clock I can watch. Is there a name to your podcast?
It is the White Cat Outdoors podcast.
Okay, the White
Cat Outdoors podcast.
Okay.
And
Remember that, America.
yeah, and it's released 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
So obviously, like this side of the country. So
Right.
obviously, if you're in Utah, it's earlier. But we do that because a lot of people listen to podcasts while they're at work.
Right.
So we want to be able to have them get it. It could be downloaded, ready to go.
Right.
So when they go to work Monday,
Okay.
White Cat Outdoors
Awesome.
is ready to rip.
Awesome.
And that's kind of our goal with it.
All right, cool. No, man, I wish you guys the best of luck. And I know it's going to work for you. You just know. I mean, you guys have such a passion and such a drive. And I know your guys' personality. For you guys to not succeed, it's going to be tough.
Oh, there's
'Cause
no
I know
stopping us. We
that's what I
started,
mean.
and there's no stopping us. We're just going to
That's
keep on
the
rolling.
attitude you have to have. I mean, so many people get beat down with just the daily stuff. You know what I mean? You got to rise above.
No, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
We're not going to stop. We enjoy doing it, and it's only going to go up from here.
Yeah,
Like every week,
right.
we've seen improvements. Jared over at Let Fly, he's really big about letting us know
Right.
exactly what he liked and didn't
Right.
like, and hopefully he sees the improvements as we go with
Right.
everybody else, because we know he's not the only one that
Right.
has the same opinions. So he's been honest
Right.
with us, tells us when he loves it, tells us when it
Right.
wasn't your best,
Right.
and it's important that we get that.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, and people should not ever be dogged on constructive criticism. That's what makes you better. You know what I mean? With my personal experience with Bait Buddy, I've had people tell me, Norm, the top you have is terrible. It's leaking all over the place. If nobody is honest with me and tells me that, I won't know that.
Yeah, you'll
So-
just continue to have
so,
a
yeah, I
terrible.
mean,
Yeah.
Well, like I said, it's been an evolution where
Yeah.
the first you start out with those little cans,
Right.
and you're just slabbing your
Yeah,
bait in
right.
there, and it just got all over the
Right.
place. And then you've actually improved the bottle itself, because the old one used to collapse, correct?
Yeah, I mean, there's been, and there's no way I could have foreseen that coming. You know what I mean? My bottle actually caving in. But I guess with oils, when there's oxygen, it'll suck the oxygen out, and your bottle will concave. How am I supposed to know that?
Got to be a chemist, I guess.
Yeah, right. I mean, but like
Yeah,
you
you've
said,
improved
through
the bottles, and
evolution.
it's a very attractive logo on there. It's unique, so anybody that sees it is like, yep, that's Uncle Norm's.
Well, I'll tell you what, and I'm going to reiterate again because I believe in the product 150%. If you're serious about fishing, go to my Facebook page, Uncle Norm's Bait Buddy. Check out my Facebook page, all my YouTube videos, my pics and testimonials. And if you're serious about fishing, you're gonna want to get a bottle of this. And through my research, and I've had some guys putting it through the test like you wouldn't believe. I found people use my product about 35% of the time when they go out fishing, and I think that's pretty exciting. There's probably nothing else in your tackle box that you use that frequent, but 35% of the time, that's pretty good. People are using my product.
That's a great point to make, and I think that's a like even better way to just end this podcast. We're just going to leave it at that 35% of the time it's working every time.
Yeah.
And
And I'm not suggesting that it's a miracle product that you're going to use every single time. If that was the case, why take a tackle box? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
yeah, but you wanted a part of the tackle box. That's the key.
It is definitely worthy of being in every single tackle box in America, and that's exciting. And now it's up to me to market it through venues like this, through Field and Stream, fishing shows, going traveling. But the main obstacle, it's a good product. That's the main deal. The rest is up to me. Sometimes that's scary.
Yeah.
It'll work itself out.
Put it all up to Norm.
Yeah, right. I know. But I mean, for those people that don't know me, the calendar says I'm 53, but I'm.
Yeah, for those of us that do know him, he's rocking right around 23 to 25.
Frankie, in this goofy world where you can identify as anything, I'm going to identify as 26 years old.
That's a
Perfect.
age.
You know, so yeah, I can change my age if everybody else can change everything.
Yeah, but Uncle Norm's Bait Buddy it's a great product. We've all at the table have been using it for years, and I just want to reiterate your story about that guy that doesn't fish with his son anymore, and started using Uncle Norm's Bait Buddy, and that's what was getting them outside, and that's our key thing. How we kick out every podcast is we talk about we all love hunting, we all love fishing. And whatever people can do to get outside, that's how that's the important thing, and that's how we end every podcast.
That really is, guys. I want to thank you again. I mean, this was awesome. I wish you great success. I hope I'm invited back to a podcast. And when you get the video, let me know. I'll get my hair right.
Yeah, we'll get his hair done up.
Right.
So yeah, we'll.
And for those of you who don't know, a cue ball has more hair than I do.
So yeah, head over to Norm Myers on Facebook, get a hold of him, get yourself a bottle, and after listening to this podcast, make sure that it's Uncle Norm's Bait Buddy that gets you outside.